Hello and welcome students. So the next topic that I'm taking is pathologic calcification, and this topic is very important for undergraduates and postgraduates, and many a times it is asked in theory, viva, and even MCQs come from this topic. So it's a very important topic. So what is pathologic calcification? It is the abnormal tissue deposition of calcium salts along with small amounts of iron, magnesium, and other minerals. So this is abnormal. Normally, calcium is deposited in bone and the enamel of the teeth. So that is physiologic calcification. It is normal calcification. But when it occurs at site other than these sites, these normal sites, then it becomes pathologic calcification. And when any tissue gets deposited with calcium, then grossly it is seen as whitish deposits, chalky white deposits, and they are gritty in nature, gritty to feel. So you have to remember these words. These are the key words for describing the calcium in a gross specimen. So it will be chalky white and it will be granular and gritty to feel. So these are the gross findings of a calcium deposit. And microscopically, when we stain with the routine H&D stain, that they look like amorphous basophilic granular in appearance. See, there this is calcification and it is looking basophilic, means bluish purplish in color, and it is having some granular appearance, and it is amorphous, it is not having any form. So this is how it looks in the routine H&D staining. Then we use special stain to demonstrate calcium. Again, this is very important for viva. Sometimes they ask what are the special stains you use to demonstrate calcium. So first is von Kosa stain. Von Kosa will stain calcium as black, and alizarin red will stain calcium as red. Also, sometimes when excessive calcium gets deposited, then heterotopic or ectopic bone may form. So the tissue may become hard as a bone because there is deposition of hydroxyapatite form of calcium, and it forms a heterotopic bone, like the bony tissue will be seen in the soft in a soft tissue. So that is known as heterotopic bone. So it occurs when there is massive deposition of calcium. Now next, very important, how many types of calcification occurs. So there are two types of pathologic calcification. One is dystrophic calcification, other is metastatic. So these forms are asked in the exams, and they also ask differences between these two types of calcification, and also you are asked to quote examples of both of these. So what is dystrophic calcification? It is calcification which is occurring in a dead, dying or degenerated tissue. So you have to remember D for dystrophic and dead, dying, degenerated, all have a D in it. So this is encountered in in these tissues. And the second most important point is that the serum calcium level is normal. So the patient is normocalcemic, and there is a risk of organ dysfunction. So dystrophic calcification, it is a sign of death of a cell. But when there is excessive deposition of calcium, then the tissue and ultimately the organ may dysfunction. So this is the clinical significance of dystrophic calcification. Now, what are the examples of dystrophic calcification? First is necrosis. So necrosis, the examples of necrosis in which calcification can occur are three. So one is coagulative necrosis, then caseous necrosis, and liquefactive necrosis. So in these three types of calcification, we can see these types of necrosis, we can see calcification. And you might be remembering that when there is fat necrosis, also calcification is seen. Then second example is dead parasite. The wall of dead parasites can show calcification. Then vessel walls. There is example of Monkeyberg's arteriosclerosis in which the tunica media, it shows the calcification. So this is another important example. Then atheromas of advanced atherosclerosis. So in atherosclerosis, there are atheromas which are forming in the vessels, and they are composed of cholesterol, lipid-laden cholesterol. Then inflammatory cells are there, cell debris is there, and when they reach an advanced stage, they can also show dystrophic calcification. Next example is in the aging heart walls or in damaged heart walls. So Sometimes diseased heart valves and aging heart valves, they also show calcification, which is dystrophic in nature. Another important example is tubercular lymph node. Often this specimen is put in the exams, in pathology exams. So lymph node is showing caseous necrosis as well as calcification. So the tubercular lymph node is an important example of dystrophic calcification. Then there are some bodies, these fancy names. First is psammoma body, in which there is deposition of calcium in the form of laminated form. So concentric fashion, it gets deposited, and that is known as psammoma body. Then Gamma-Gandhi body, it is seen in CVC spleen. Again, it is composed of iron as well as calcium. Similar for asbestos body, seen in case of asbestosis, and as in it also there is deposition of iron as well as calcium. So both gets deposited, and chief content is iron followed by calcium. And see these images, this is a atheroma. So in a blood vessel there is a erythematous plaque, and it can show calcification like this, white areas. Then this is a tubercular lymph node which is showing calcification. Lymph nodes, these are lymph node cut section, and it is showing these glistening white areas. These areas of which are chalky white and granular in appearance, these are calcification. And this is microscopic picture of psammoma body, in which the calcification is concentric. Now next is metastatic calcification. Now this, in contrast to dystrophic, this is seen in normal tissue. The tissue is not dead, the cells are not dead. It is seen in metastatic calcification and always associated with hypercalcemia, in which the serum calcium levels are increased. Examples of metastatic calcification are also important. So first condition is hyperparathyroidism. So there is increased amount of parathyroid hormone and can be seen in conditions like parathyroid hyperplasia. Then tumors of parathyroid gland like parathyroid adenoma commonly. So there the parathyroid hormone will increase in body, and as you know, it will cause increased bony resorption and it will cause increased calcium absorption, leading to hypercalcemia and metastatic calcification. Second condition is bone resorption, which can occur due to some tumors of bone marrow like multiple myeloma, in which bony resorption is seen. There are lytic lesions and the bone resorption is seen, and there is hypercalcemia. Again in leukemia there can be bone resorption. Other example is metastasis from some primary tumor to the bones, for example in the breast cancer. Then disease like Paget's disease, in this there is increased bony turnover, so that will lead to hypercalcemia. And also when there is immobilization for a long time, then also the bone gets resorbed. The third example is vitamin D related disorder. As you know, vitamin D causes increased absorption of calcium from the gut. So vitamin D intoxication, when it is there, hypervitaminosis D will cause hypercalcemia. In sarcoidosis, the macrophage, they cause activation of a precursor of vitamin D, and that will cause increased activity of vitamin D and hypercalcemia. Then idiopathic hypercalcemia of infancy, also known as Williams syndrome, and that in this there is abnormal sensitivity for vitamin D, will lead to hypercalcemia. Then renal failure, this will cause secondary hyperparathyroidism and lead to hypercalcemia. Then milk alkali syndrome, it occurs when there is increased ingestion of milk and ml containing antacids, so that will cause hypercalcemia and metastatic calcification. So you have to remember examples of both, which is very important. Now metastatic calcification, it is often asked at which sites it causes the deposition of calcium. So it can cause deposition of calcium in any part of the body, but the important sites are the sites where there is excretion of acid and there is internal alkaline compartment, so that will promote the deposition of calcium, like interstitial tissue of gastric mucosa, kidneys, lungs. In kidneys nephrocalcinosis is seen, then lungs, systemic arteries and pulmonary veins. So these are the important sites for metastatic calcification. So all this information which is given in this page, all of it is very important. You have to learn all these things. And also one more point, that the calcium can get deposited as hydroxyapatite crystals or it can deposit in the amorphous form. Hydroxyapatite means where calcium phosphorus both gets deposited. So in this way the calcium can get deposited. Now again in the histopathology practical, sometimes you are given the slide of calcification. In some institutes they give medial calcific sclerosis, also known as monkey bug sclerosis. So here the diagram, for this diagram I will be posting a separate video. So you just have to make a vessel wall, normal vessel wall, and in which you have to make the deposition of calcium like basophilic, granular and amorphous deposit like this. Now this is in the tunica media, and it is calcification in the tunica media, example of medial calcific sclerosis or monkey bugs arteriosclerosis. Now the blood vessel has three layers: intima, media and adventitia. So intima is made up of endothelial cells which are flattened. The media, it is made up of muscle cells, smooth muscle cells, which is elongated spindle shaped cell with elongated cigar shaped nucleus like this. And the adventitia, it is made up of fibroblast. So fibroblast, they are again spindle shaped cells, but they have pointed ends like this and a oval nucleus. So this sometimes helps to when you are making the diagram. Now the next example is calcinosis cutis, means cutis, skin, it is showing calcification. So in this you have to make skin, epidermis and dermis. It is keratinized. This is keratin. Stratified means multiple layers are there. Squamous epithelium. So this is keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, and this is the dermis. So dermis, these are showing the focus of calcification, again amorphous, granular, basophilic, and these are the fibroblast and blood vessels in the dermis. So this is a diagram for calcification, dystrophic calcification. Next, very important asked in the viva and also sometimes in the MCQs, psammoma bodies. Psammoma bodies, they are example of dystrophic calcification, and you have to remember the causes of psammoma bodies, where the conditions where psammoma bodies are seen in the microscopy. So these can be remembered by the mnemonic MOST PG, MOST PG. So M stands for malignant mesothelioma, then psammomatous meningioma, which is psammomatous variety, then melanotic schwannoma, again the variety is psammomatous variant. Then O stands for ovarian papillary serous cyst adenocarcinoma. This is the epithelial tumor of the ovary. Also can be seen in ovarian papillary serous cyst adenoma, which is the benign tumor. Then S stands for serous carcinoma of endometrium, and T stands for thyroid, papillary carcinoma thyroid. This most of you must be remembering. Then P stands for prolactinoma tumor of pituitary. Then papillary renal cell carcinoma, and G stands for glucagonoma. So in all these tumors, psammoma bodies can be seen in the microscopy. Psammoma body, you can see this is calcium deposited in a concentric fashion. So this is, here you can see this slide. Here it is full of psammoma bodies. All these round structures, these are psammoma bodies. So often we see that psammoma bodies are seen in papillary tumors. So sometimes it is asked in from the postgraduates also that what is a papilla. So papilla, it has a finger-like projection. It is finger-like projection, and it has a core which is made up of fibrovascular connective tissue. So there is a fibrovascular core, and then a finger-like projection which is lined by the epithelial cells. So this is papilla. So you have to remember these DDs by heart. So they are very commonly asked in UG exams, PG exams also. It is very commonly asked. It is very important. Now this is an example of dystrophic calcification, but in the postgraduate exams sometimes it is asked, now what are the other hypotheses for psammoma bodies. So it is said that it is a biological process that is going on rather than this being deposited over a dead cell, the psammoma body. It is a biological process which is leading to increased thickening of the basement membrane in the blood vessel, followed by thrombosis and calcification. So here the psammoma body will be formed, and the blood vessel will show this thrombosis and calcification in the form of the psammoma bodies, and that will prevent a further spread of the tumor. So certain articles they have been published, and especially in papillary thyroid carcinoma, it has been shown that the thickening of the basal lamina in the blood vessel of the neoplastic papillae is followed by the thrombosis and calcification, and this leads to the formation of psammoma bodies, and this process helps to prevent the spread of the tumor cells and also decreases the growth of the tumor. So this is another hypothesis which is given and can be asked from the PGs. But at the undergraduate level, you should at least know that it is a form of dystrophic calcification. So thank you very much. These are my references.